You're not going to believe this, but I'm actually in my car. Well, you can see I'm in my car. That's kind of obvious. But I'm actually recording this on a PTZ camera from OBSBOT. PTZ, pan tilt zoom. It's sitting on my dash. It's the OBSBOT Tail 2, and it's just been released, and it's kind of cool. One of the things that's great about this camera is that it is wireless. This is, for me, probably the biggest selling feature of the whole system, is that this is wireless. I've got about 5-ish hours of battery life on this camera, and so I am able to do something like this, put it in my car, and do a review while I'm driving around. You can see I've got my screen right here, and I can pinch and zoom and say I just want to focus on my face, and it's just going to focus on my face. So if I lean forward, it's going to follow. If I move over this way, it's going to follow. It's going to stick with me. And that's one of the really neat things about this camera, is that they have got some AI technology inside there that is able to identify the person, the face, the eyes, things like that, and track it across all kinds of movement. So when I talk about how well the Tail 2 tracks using AI, I want to show you just how good it is. You can see here on the screen recording that I have, you can see that I'm going to select me. So I have double clicked on the object, which would be me. And as I start to move, it is going to start panning and following me. Now I'm going to turn my back and walk over here towards our whiteboard. And it's still tracking me. Now, using the zoom feature, I'm going to zoom up close. And it's going to track me as I'm moving about, talking to my audience, talking to the people here in the room. I'm going to turn off the zoom, and it's going to go back. And I'm going to try walking behind our whiteboard here, and we're going to see if it can track me or not. It picked me up right on the other side. Let me go back again. You can see it's tracking my legs. Come right back up on the other side. So the AI tracking built into the OBSBOT Tail 2 is really smart. In this example, you can see my daughter and I are playing with it in my studio. And as I move behind her, it continues to track me. If I'm hiding behind her, it still knows that I'm there and will pick up on the other side. It can also track animals. It can track like 30 different types of animals. Okay, so it can like recognize them and know what it's looking at and know that that's the thing that it's supposed to be doing. So if your dog is running across the yard, it's going to track your dog. It can also track all kinds of different objects, which makes it really cool when you're trying to shoot something like a car race, or shooting a train, or shooting somebody, your kid playing on their skateboard, or somebody surfing, or all. I mean, the possibilities are endless. In fact, I think I could even track a drone, which I'm actually going to try. I can't try it for this review, but I'll be doing a review of this thing trying to track my drone. So stay tuned for that. Now, this camera has all kinds of different options available. So I am currently recording with a micro SD card inside the camera, and I've controlled it from my iPhone. So with my iPhone, I hit the record button. It triggers the recording in the machine. I've got a microphone right here, a wireless lapel mic in here that the receiver is plugged directly into the mic input on the camera. It can be powered from its internal battery for about 5 hours. And I'm going to say about 5 hours, because it really depends on how much you're using it. The more the load is, the more that it's going to work. Obviously, would diminish the battery just a little bit more than if it's just like a static shot. It can be powered off of USB-C. They really recommend a power supply, like a wall wart, phone charger, that sort of thing, to power it that is 25 watts or better. Another way to power it is through PoE, or power over Ethernet. Now, this can come in really handy when you're trying to minimize the amount of cabling that you're running. If you power this with a Ethernet cable, you can also use the NDI feature, which stands for Networks network device interface, which is basically like doing HDMI over an Ethernet cable. So you can power it, and you can also pull the video and audio signal through that same Ethernet. It also has HDMI and SDI outputs. So you can pretty much put this camera in any video infrastructure that is out there and take advantage of its full capabilities. You can control it from your phone. You can control it from your tablet. You can control it on your Mac or your Windows PC through their control panel. And one of the things that I really dig about this is that it is meeting some of the PTZ standards and requirements that are used by other PTZ cameras. So this camera has RS-232 connectors so that you can control it through your standard control box. You can also use the various PTZ protocols to control it through software. Now, like I said, the camera can record directly onto an SD card, and it can record up to 60 frames per second in 4K resolution. And at 1080, it can do up to 120 frames a second. So we can do some high-speed video work using this camera and get some super slow motion when we play it back at a slower speed. Now, if you're working in a production environment where you're using green screen and virtual sets, this camera is capable and can work in that environment. It uses the 3D protocol and can just seamlessly jump right in with your other cameras. It's got a 5 times optical zoom lens. So there's actually multiple layers to the lens. It's not like a webcam where you got just the one lens. This is a full-on multi-glass lens system, 5 times optical zoom, which is great. And it also has a 12 times hybrid zoom system. So for that first 5 degrees of power, you're going to be using the optical system, and then it's going to go to digital. And just as a standard rule, I never use digital zoom. This is the first time that I have seen in a camera the digital zoom that I thought for sure was optical zoom. They have really knocked it out of the park. Now, I've only had this camera for a week or so I haven't been really able to put it through its serious paces. If you're thinking about adding a PTZ camera to your production setup, I'm just going to tell you, start with the Tail 2. This is a very affordable, high-end, especially for the price, high-end PTZ camera that looks like it's going to be my camcorder killer. Camcorder killer? Say that? Camcorder killer. I think I found the camcorder killer. We'll see you in the next video.